Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. Joining me today, as always, is Roadie Pie.
Hi, hello.
Feeling just a wee bit blue today, I see.
Or with a spot of clouds.
Spot of clouds. Blue with a chance of clouds.
Exactly.
And joining us, once again, Xaiyou. Welcome back to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Yay.
Our figurine... so it's painting. Do you also do assembly for figurines, or just...
I do.
Yes.
I also do. I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Figurine extraordinaire.
This is what I've been building recently.
Whoa.
Ooh.
It's not done.
Are you into 3D printing as well?
If I had a 3D printer,
You'd get in so much trouble. Well, if I happen, if just randomly you find a 10 grand, I'm sure that would be like 3D printer like on a heartbeat.
I'm hoping we hit that much money, maybe next year probably, and then we can just like have one in the warehouse and just be like,
Yeah.
all right, now we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, thankfully they're getting cheaper every year too, so
I'll probably write it off as a business expense.
absolutely get that tax rebate. Yeah. Alrighty, so with that, all the introductions out of the way, I'm going to remember the panel this time and ask y'all, what have y'all been playing this week? Starting with Xaiyou, what have you been up to?
I'm gonna be guilty. Because my computer's been having issues, I've only been playing The Sims. But
Sims
there's
4?
a lot of there's a lot of new stuff that just recently dropped with The Sims 4. There was the whole cottagecore pack that just dropped.
I'm Harold. Yes,
With cottage living.
No,
And
I don't have an explanation.
then
You can hear the voice in my
with
head.
that, there was a
Instead,
base game
let's focus on the
update
point of this video, which is
that
telling you
gives
now,
us
over the next
a whole
100
slew of stuff, like
milliseconds
including making
of
ponds
I'm
and stuff like that.
your-
And so now I'm just like, all right, well, I can sink my soul into that. So I've been doing that, and also the tabletop stuff, as I said before.
Nice.
Cottage living looks really quaint. I like it.
Yeah, because I was a big fan of The Sims back in the day, and like where I was so excited when The Sims 4 first came out, and then I played it, and because at the
It's
time
gotten a lot
you
better.
yeah, because you're like your sim got old and died. I was just like, no, 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 no. I want my sim to live for as long as I choose them to, basically. And I really liked The Sims 2, and all like the community coming up with their own designs for items and everything, and they put it on. They had the main website that you could just download things from, like that you could put in your home, and they're all interactable as well. It was amazing. But then when the publisher came in, when EA bought The Sims off Maxis, and it was just like, no, we're not having any of that. Not having any of that free shit. You want shit, you pay for it from us. And it was just like it was
Fully
just
admit I've paid EA quite a bit of money, but I need it. I need it.
Yeah, it's a shame. They really ruined like a really great community, I feel. But it's still a great game and stuff.
I will say though, I've done like a few challenges where it's just like base game only items for a build, and then played like that and was just like, there's a lot in the base game now with all the updates they've done throughout all of it. So now it's just pretty solid even on its own. Like for a
Yeah.
while, base game didn't even have calendars, but because I just in a recent one more recent updates, they gave everybody calendars because they were like, hey, here you go, everyone can have calendars now. So I think over time the base game will catch fairly up. It just won't be all of it.
Yeah, it's never going to be all of it because they want to have all of the money, not just some, all of the money.
Mm-hmm.
They want all of the money.
Yep. Wow. And Rudy, what have you been playing this week?
So I played a few things. So I got all of the achievements apart from one in Dude Stop, but I think you can only get the last achievement when you like play it the first time around, sort of thing, because of the story. It's part of the storyline. So I'm a bit annoyed at that, but I'm so happy that I got all the other ones because they were pretty tough to get.
Call it a moral victory.
Sorry?
Call it a moral victory.
Yes. Yes, I definitely will. And then I started this game a few weeks ago and I just finally finished it. Is Tiny Room Stories Town Mystery. And it's this is a game that I played originally on mobile, but I didn't want to pay the extra acts. I only played Act 1, and because I think that was for free, and then the other two acts, you had to pay for them, and they hadn't come out yet, also. So, but yeah, I didn't want to pay I didn't want to pay extra and then another bit. So I was really glad when it came out on Steam, and I got it in the sale, so I got extra discount as well. And oh my god, playing through it again, I just remember now like how annoying some of the puzzles are. Because there's definitely a case of this only makes sense in the creator's mind, this particular puzzle. And the worst thing is it doesn't have a hint system, because they have like a little, it doesn't show in the trailer here, but in the top left there is a question mark that you can click on, and that sends you to their YouTube page, which is private. It's not a public one. You can only access it through the game. And it shows you it's a walkthrough. It is a walkthrough, but I don't want a walkthrough.
No, you want a hint.
I want a hint. So there's loads of times when you just kind of feel like really stupid as well. And it's just like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? Oh god, yeah, of course, because I'm not the developer. But this is a long game. I thought the first act was quite long because of the amount of times I stopped, paused the game, and just, turned it off. Went away for a bit to think about it. If you leave something for a while, you'll get you'll get that idea. Oh yeah, this is what I need to try to do in the game. But oh my god, I just when I went through the other two acts, it's like altogether it was nearly 14 hours of gameplay. It was like crazy amounts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But yeah, interesting story. Would I recommend this? If you like quite a challenging sort of kind of point and click game, then okay, yeah. But there are some things that are a bit annoying in it. But yeah, I guess I would recommend this. And then the final kind of game that I played was Mini Motorways. So we spoke about this last week, and it was an instant purchase for me because I actually bought the bundle. So I got Mini Motorways and Mini Metro.
Okay.
And I really, really like Mini Motorways. It is such a great game. It's like you think this isn't going to be that much, or I'm only going to get maybe half an hour or an hour of play, just like one run through or something. But no, I keep going back to it every day because they've got like daily challenges and weekly challenges, and I am not a designer by any means, any sort of imagination. My there's no way I'm gonna make very pretty looking sort of infrastructure. And it's very difficult to do as well, because each week you only have a certain set of road tiles that you can implement. So and each week you can choose between two things. You can either have, say, like 20 road tiles and a roundabout, or 20 road tiles and a and some traffic lights, like 2 traffic lights or something like that. So it's like, what am I going to do? Or if you go with the motorway, when you implement a motorway, you stick down the like starting route, and then you just pull it over to where the end route is, but you don't use any road tiles. So they only give you 10 extra road tiles. But sometimes those motorways are like, it's worth doing because they're like, there are places that are really difficult to get to or something. But yeah, it's so great, and everything is color coded. So, and they do have a mode for people if they are colorblind as well. So yeah, it's like you've got like blue houses go to the blue like factory or something like that. So you've got to make sure there is a route for them to get to that. And it's basically you keep doing things like that until you fail, until like traffic gets too bad, and you can hear it coming, you can see it coming, and you're just like, oh god, no, I just want to get like at least 1,000 trips. I want to just do 1,000 trips. When I reach that 1,000, I'm like, yes. Yes, I did that. So yeah, I've been addicted to that pretty much all week. And I did nip in and play mini Metro. I only played the tutorial, and I think I still need to get my head around it a little bit more, because it's like, it's really it's quite difficult. It's quite a difficult game, and much like mini motorways, where you're trying to you're getting passengers around on like basically build up a tube system and everything like that. You've got to get used to like how the mechanics are and everything like that. But yeah, I've definitely had a good time with those 2 games so far. I'll dip in a bit more to Mini Metro, but I definitely will play the daily challenge on Mini Motorways. What about you, Dewey? What have you been up to?
Me, I finished Gris. Like for reals this time. I'm yet to write a review, but I did finish the game, and I have to say it's definitely getting a positive review from me. There's this it kind of left me with, I'm not entirely sure what the resolution is, but it's ultimately you come to a point where it's like, okay, the main character is happy once again, kind of thing. Like, but it's how you interpret it, I'm not entirely sure. It's very, I'm of a few different minds about how to interpret it, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But it's like, it's really touching, it's really pretty. There's not, again, as I said this before, there's not a single point in this game that it's not beautiful. Just everything in the game is pretty. The soundtrack is fantastic. There is a point where the music like crescends to such a loud point. It was like, oh, I've got to turn this down. Because I had it on my computer and I didn't have my headphones on, so it was just like coming from the speakers, and it's like 11 at night or whatever. So I'm playing, and as it gets to this emotional high point, the music's getting louder and louder. It's like, is this gonna keep just getting louder? And then I'm like, the neighbor's gonna wake up. I need to turn this down. And so I kind of missed that, like, a bit of that really emotional scene, because I'm like, turn down the volume, it's getting so loud. But it's really beautiful, touching music, just a fascinating world, and and it was constantly changing. Every level had a different set of mechanics, while also having you use all the previous things they had used before. So just every level's different with all these clever, these really clever platforming mechanics. Many of these mechanics are kind of like one-off mechanics that's the gimmick of this platformer game. Well, this one has several of those, so it just takes a lot of things that a lot of games is like, oh, this is the gimmick that makes us stand out, and it's like, well, Gris is like, oh no, we're gonna do all of them, but at different levels over the course of the game. And yeah, it's really pretty. I know it's a definitely very, very good game, because I am of half the mind to go back and like discover the hidden scenes, because there's additional cutscenes you can unlock and some additional story if you go like on this little side paths or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I am kind of tempted, because I kind of want to know if that'll help more solidify what the story would be like. But I'm also kind of happy with like it being a interpret for yourself sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but very beautiful. I quite liked it.
But what if you discover something more?
Yeah, what if I discover something more? That is really tempting. I just want to go back, and I do really want to go back to the
Plus,
scenes.
what if there's a collectible or something?
That I don't think there's collectibles, but there's definitely like additional secrets to find. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And there's
saying.
achievements for all of those.
Even if there's like an achievement or a secret, that's still something to collect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Always be collecting in life.
Yeah.
You hear how Xaiyou is? It's like, but what if there's this? Ooh,
Mhm.
ooh. He's like being devil's advocate. He's like
Well,
trying to,
I always think, what if I go left instead of right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And
what if there's something else more?
And that's the thing about this game. It is deceptively linear, in that it is mostly linear. But there are multiple spots where I'm like, wait a second, had I gone that other way? Would it have been different? And there's some that I definitely confirmed that there are two ways to solve this puzzle. So there's some levels are very linear, and there is only one way. But then at kind of unexpected points, it branches. And you may not realize that it branched. So it's very cleverly designed that way. But yeah, it took me 3.2 hours to finish this game. And now, granted, that's just one playthrough, not doing the full completion with all the achievements, but 3.2 hours, and it normally sells at $16.99, which I think that's reasonable for a standard non-sale indie price, I guess. But it is, like, with it only being 3.2 hours, I'd say judge for yourself. But if you can get it on sale, really, really get Gris. It is so good. It is an emotional experience. So you need to be like in a contemplative mood to play it. But yeah, that is the game I played this week. Besides like more Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. So now I have to find another indie game to hop into, but I'm really looking forward to it. I just don't know if it's going to be as like emotionally satisfying as this one was.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So next we have our catch-up list, and we're gonna start with. Okay, if copy paste will work. We're gonna start with the game from September 17th. Welcome to Elk.
Welcome to Elk is a biographical adventure set on an island like no other, where every character you encounter has a story to tell, from the weird and wonderful to the dark and desperate. All the tales told on Elk are based on true stories of life on the road less travelled.
So the premise of this one is quite interesting in that, and I think there's even like they do have like clips of interviews that they had with some people who this is the stories that they're telling. Now, they do specify that these are not exactly biographical, in that they change names, they change settings, they and of course they connect it all into a single story. So they didn't. So in real life, it's a lot of individual stories that are not necessarily connected, and then just kind of connected them all together in this game. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this game when it was first released, and there is like one like true story. Well, there are multiple true stories in it, but there's like one where like one of like the family gets shot or something.
Mhm.
These are very like difficult. Some of them are like very difficult to kind of witness, kind of like stories.
Mhm.
They're very like hard hitting. They're not necessarily this is all happy joy kind of stories. So bear that in mind when if you do decide to pick this one up.
Yep.
But yeah, I really like the style of it and everything. Sorry, Xaiyou, you were gonna say.
Unique. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
But yeah, it's got a. I do like how it kind of contrasts the really cheerful look with the really dark setting of some of the stories. Some of the stories are very dark. Others are not.
Like at like skin deep, it looks really bright, and then as it gets in there, you're like, well, wow.
Yeah.
So
I'm really curious about this one, because I do like these sort of narratives and everything, but I'm worried that I'm gonna like come away from it feeling quite upset, or not come away feeling happy or anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
that's
like,
my concern.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it looks really interesting, and it is £11.39, and it stands at 97% very positive with 98 user reviews. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, and this is developed by the studio Triple Topping. They also made the game Spit Kiss. If you remember that. I think we talked about this one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just seeing how long it is, because I'm seeing a lot of people with like just under 4 hours. Quite a few people with just under 4 hours. But also people with quite a few hours longer as well. So yeah, I just think depends how long it takes you to read.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Next up is Nui.
Nui is a minimalist puzzle platformer about farewell, where wealth is linked to your sword. So I guess farewell is the place, and because I was thinking, is it about saying goodbye?
Oh yeah. Where? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, okay. And so it's about saying farewell, but I wonder if this is more. Is this going to be like Gris, where you just kind of like it's the implication, or are they going to have some sort of contrived text? I don't know. It just doesn't have the look where it's going to be like really story. This just looks like a puzzle platformer to me.
Yeah,
but maybe it's going to surprise.
Ooh,
I like the fact that you have to throw your sword.
Yeah,
and you kind of teleports. That's interesting.
I like abilities like that.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting, but yeah, I feel it needs something more, but still a nice little platformer to play. It is a short and fun experience. It's only £2.09.
$2.99 USD.
Yeah, there's only 9 user reviews, so if you're looking for a nice short platformer, maybe give this one a go.
Yep. The developer is DavidPixel. There are 50 levels and 15 secrets, and you can complete it in less than an hour. So at a price of $2.99, that's probably pretty well put. Okie doke. Next up.
$2.99.
Huh?
It looks pretty fair for $3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's like a fairly priced phone game. I wonder if this is on phones. I don't know. This is probably
it looks like it could be designed for a phone. It doesn't look like it'd be more than any more than a couple of taps.
Mm.
Okie doke. Next game is JMPR, or maybe Jumper, but not sure.
Jumper is a handcrafted, unforgiving 2D platformer, or meat-like, made for die-hard fans.
Meat likes. That's a new genre. That's another genre. That's not a thing. I'm terrible at these games.
Oh,
There's
flashbacks. Yep.
there are like some parts of the game that look really, really kind of well done and everything, and other parts of it just look super crunchy. Like the bit where it looks like there's a acid pool or something, and the rest of it's white. It doesn't look so great. I don't know.
Oh yeah, is it this one?
No, not with the pigs.
Oh, okay.
It's green. There's bright green.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yeah, that's some pretty like vivid for a game that's mostly like grays and stuff, and it suddenly just has bright green.
Yeah.
Maybe go a little more low key with that one. But yeah, there's 201 handcrafted levels, 4 bonus challenge levels, as well as many ways to die.
This only has 2 user reviews. Probably because it's like 15.49. I know there's like over 200 levels, but it's yeah. I have to wonder. I think there's 8 user reviews though. And they're all like positive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, $19.99. I don't know if I would drop that much for this, but it's got a good aesthetic in most of it, but then there's just a little bit that's like, eh. The developer is Level. Clearly they like just having letters rather than proper name, but yeah, so this is their first game on Steam.
Day says I'd be horrible. Oh no, sorry. Chi, sorry. The same color names. Chi said I'd be horrible. I've died 3 times now. Time to uninstall and pretend I never played it.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that would be me. Okay. Next up is
I've done that before.
Yeah. Got in a game and just like, well, I'm terrible at this. Just gonna quietly uninstall it.
Day says I would also die, to be fair.
All right.
That's why you always play invisible on your first day of playing with the game.
Oh yeah.
That way no one knows you played at all.
Our next game is Atomicrops.
An action-packed rogue-lite where you must cultivate and defend the last farm in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Farm mutated crops, marry townsfolk, and kill every mutant creature that tries to invade. This ain't no ordinary farming simulator. I feel like we've spoken about this before.
We did. I think it was back when it was in early access and I didn't notice. But yeah, it is now fully out. And it's fully out with the Feline Good update. Feline Good. Yeah. That's really funny. But yeah, it's got the whole trailer thing, it's got this whole like CalArts style thing going, which, you know, I'm not a fan of the aesthetic of CalArts. A lot of people are, but I'm not a big fan. So when I saw that the game itself is like this really colorful pixel art, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm a fan of this. I can be down with this. I think it's so pretty. Yeah.
I think it's so weird though, because you've got like this very bright like the vegetation that you plant and everything, and also, you know, guns firing and whatever. and then the actual background or the ground itself is just really muddy and kind of like not so great. But I suppose that's, you know, that is the wasteland. That is what you're.
That sun
you're
is
living in
nightmare fuel.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, the anger sun. Yeah, that's kind of weird looking. Let me see. Where is that?
But yeah, this is £11.39, and it's standing altogether very positive with over 1,000 user reviews at 93% positive, and the recent reviews it's 95% positive with 95 user reviews. So yeah,
It's funny how basically all games, it's like if there's like farming, there's like a 50-50 chance that there's also going to be marriage, a marriage system.
yeah.
I do find that's funny nowadays.
But you know, you've gotta like, you're building a life for yourself, and you know, you want there to be, you know, someone to fill that romantic need for you. So yeah, I really like those kind of farming games because I really loved Rune Factory. That was my, I loved that more than I liked Harvest Moon. I think they were by the same company.
Do you like cultivating a story within the game?
Yeah, because there's something very relaxing about it. But Rune Factory, you would actually, to get all the kind of other components as well, you'd go out and you go to these dungeons and everything, and fight through particular levels and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. And you to have like upgrades and everything for weapons, you had like, you craft your own weapons and stuff. It was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this just looks really nice. It's going on my wish list. The action looks kind of up my alley, because that's the thing with a lot of gardening games for me, is that there may just not be enough to keep me coming back to it. But if there's a bit of kind of like the sort of top-down action roguelike elements to it, and it's like, yeah, okay, you can keep me coming back with that. So, because like the whole Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley games, they don't have that same appeal to me quite yet. Even though I really like gardening, it's just I have an IRL garden on my balcony. So,
How's that garden going, by the way?
It's going pretty well. It's been very hot, which is fine for the basil, but my nasturtiums basically bloomed and died. So it was just too hot. But the basil is doing fantastic, because basil's a tropical plant, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'm gonna have to make a lot of pesto before it goes to seed. So, but yep. All right. With that is all of our Catchup games. So next up, we have our release list. There we go. Starting with Monday, July 26th, the game Intravenous.
Teeth-clenching stealth followed by hardcore gunplay for those not looking for a quiet way in. Intravenous will keep you at the edge of your seat regardless of how you play.
This top-down perspective is not very common. This is more of kind of a retro thing. Some really old games had this.
It reminds me of the old Fallout.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like the speedy action in this game, and as well as the whole stealth element. The thing with me in stealth is that I'm terrible at it. I enjoy like the idea of it, but then invariably if I try to play, I just like, oh, I hate it. This is so stressful.
Well, I don't know. I've seen a lot of these kind of top-down kind of shooters, but like on more of a budget, not done so well. And also like what is it? Hotline Miami as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
When that came out, that was just loads of people tried to copy it. So yeah, it is fairly. It's more common now because it's been updated on how to with the animation and everything, and to get it like nice, fast paced, I think. But,
I guess I did misspeak because I do see these games almost every week, but I always never include them in the release list because they usually look like crap. But this one, and to be fair, it's actually really hard to make this like direct top down, because if you do a 3/4 view, it's a lot easier to make things look like, to kind of make a setting that feels immersive. But when you do like just top down from above, it's just a weird vantage point for us humans. And this one, they still are able to do it where it's like, it looks very nice. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm not a big stealth fan, although this is, this looks like it's done quite well, and there seems to be quite a lot of people that like it. There's over 200 user reviews, and it's standing out very positive with 92% positive. It's 10% off right now at £8.99. I'm just wondering how long it is.
Actually I don't, let me see. Feature list. I really don't have much of a clue about how long the game is. Just that I see a lot of different areas. So, but I just don't know how many there are.
Yeah. But maybe pick this up if you're hankering for some Hotline Miami action.
I think I'm seeing between like 7 and 14 hours, so it's probably somewhere between there, like 11 or 12 on average. Which for right now it's $11.69. Even the regular price of $12.99. That's probably pretty good. And they have a what next blog. Future plans, map editor and workshop support, implementation of various community suggestions, and expansion of modding capabilities. I really like that. That's good news. That's their future plans. And they've been posting patches. They posted multiple patches yesterday, but they've been posting patches every day, multiple times a day. This is a really active, very iterative update that they're doing. That's cool to see. The developer is Roman Glebenkov, and he also developed a Game Dev Studio, which is this is not a game dev development engine. I believe this is actually a simulation strategy game. But okay, that's neat.
Wait, it's a simulation strategy game where you are a game developer?
Yeah, where you are a game developer building a video game.
So it's like copied another similar game idea from I can't remember the developer's name though, but yeah, it's exactly the same sort of premise.
Yep, but I have to say I like his I like how his art style has evolved from that, because it looks really nice, really good UI. So that is from Monday. Next up we have.
It's from Game Dev Tycoon.
Yes, Game Dev Tycoon. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Tuesday, July 27th, we have HighFleet.
Battle for survival in the skies of a mysterious future Earth in this unique action strategy game mixing arcade combat, exploration, management, and diplomacy. As a giant flying ships wage spectacular aerial warfare, a prophecy tells of one who will save the world. Could it be you?
Yeah, this.
Oh God, just every word was thrown into that blurb.
Yeah, just about everything. And actually, let me get to some gameplay, because this cutscene goes for a long time. So the gameplay is sort of a side view, just a vertical sky battler, basically, but seems to be a bit slower paced. So I'd call this, if you've ever played Dreadnought, that's a kind of a slow, methodical space battler game. Well, this seems to be kind of like the slightly faster 2D version of that, where it's just on the up and down plane rather than all three dimensions. But it's got a very post-apocalyptic look to it, doesn't it? Lots of browns, lots of grays, lots of yellows,
Lots of dirt.
lots of dirt. Yeah.
Sand.
I don't know. So this, I mean, it reminds me, of the, when media reports on like airstrikes and everything, and you see these kind of scenes. It
You just see the glowies, like, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's quite accurate. But it looks I don't know, not that exciting. But this isn't my kind of genre. But so I'm sure like the detail that's gone into this game, like people really appreciate that who enjoy these kind of games.
I think the only reason this is particularly appealing to me is just because I've played Dreadnought, so I know that a kind of slower paced combat can work quite well, but without that, I wouldn't have otherwise been like, oh, I'm super excited for this game. But there's 804 reviews with 81% positive, so that's a pretty good sign. The developer is Konstantin Koshutin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, he's the developer and published by Microprose Software.
Konstantin?
Yeah. And I'm guessing he's Russian, so it'd be like Konstantin. Yeah, Konstantin. So, but yeah, it looks really interesting. And this so yeah, I guess you're playing the House of Xaiyou. Maybe, I wonder if that's a reference to the Saud family. But anyhow, House of Xaiyou. So you're the House of Xaiyou, and it's basically just you're going to war with all the others. So it's got this kind of like Middle Eastern, Slavic. It's got this really interesting sort of the cultures along the line between East and West. That's kind of neat.
It's 10% off right now at £21.41.
Yep. $26.99, which is a hefty drop. So as I'm not super into this type of game, I might go looking for streams to see what this game is like, because a ton of people seem to love it. So I'm very curious. And there's something about Russian devs and like Eastern European devs when it comes to system-based games that they can be really good. So I'll have to check it out. Next up, Nightbook.
Tricked into reading an ancient book, Laurelyn summons a demon into her home. Nightbook is an interactive occult thriller movie created in lockdown from the publishers of the complex 5 Dates and Maid of Sker.
None more so.
Wait, so is this similar to like those movies that were coming out where everyone was like in quarantine or whatever, but it was like a horror film?
So this is an FMV game.
Yeah. Okay.
So it isn't like that movie in terms of its. I don't think it's just a movie. It is an interactive.
But this was like interactive like that.
Yeah.
I think the limitations of lockdown definitely influenced how they were going to develop the story, though. Because they probably had all these people working remotely, so they just sent them all really nice webcams and nice microphones, and then tried to have as few people at each set as possible.
You're being hysterical.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be them on their webcam and say, look, just set it up like this, have this set up. Because, this is going to be at the height of lockdown. But this is currently standing at mixed right now, with only 56% positive, with 57 user reviews. Just looking at why. Because, this publisher does, develop a lot of FMV games, which I'm a fan of. Someone said
it looks spooky.
Yeah, someone said after the success of the complex, the Nightbook is a failed game. Something was missing for me. Perhaps I did not understand something. I liked the complex much more. I regret my time and money, but I sincerely hope that the next game will be better and more attractive. I do not recommend buying the Nightbook, so you are to do it yourself. Just, oh my god. I wish they actually said, why. I think the complex had a lot more budget, had a bigger budget, and they wasn't done in lockdown. So, and I think there's too much comparison to the complex.
I wish people wouldn't. Okay, it sounds kind of bad to say, but I kind of wish people would give things that came out during lockdown a pass. Like, you have to remember that what we're dealing with, and it's just chill. Don't be so harsh on things just because it's not how it was back when we didn't have several restrictions just on day-to-day, work ethic, let alone let's try and get a group of people together for a set for so we can shoot some scenes.
Yeah, this is they did that dating sim as well.
Oh, 5 dates?
Yeah, so it's you can still get things to work, but I think it's what kind of expectations are you going to have? One of the negative ones said they bought this game and streamed it in Discord with four other people, and they played for 3 hours and only got 4 out of 15 endings. Even with the skip feature. In other words, this game was trash. I should have received it for free. I think if you're thing I have a problem with multiple endings is if you're playing through a lot of it sort of the same thing. It's the chunk of it, the main chunk of it isn't going to be that interesting to actually play through again. Which is a shame. It's don't have so many endings if the middle part is just going to be
the same way, regardless of however you choose.
Yeah, it's you're just going to make give one different answer or something like that, and that's going to give you a different ending, but not many different scenes.
Yeah, if you're going to have 15 different endings, the branches should start branching pretty early off and then kind of just end up entirely differently. And then maybe each branch have a good and bad ending kind of thing. But
that would be a little more unique. I would enjoy that.
Yeah. It's
but if it's not like that, then I will instantly be out my money back.
Yeah. It's 10% off right now at £8.99. I think I might have said that already, but yeah, it's you also get it in a bundle with the complex, 5 dates, and I Saw Black Clouds at 12% off right now at £35.06.
Yeah,
and there is a demo.
Yeah, and that's bundled smaller because you have some of those games. It's actually 7 games.
Oh.
And it's for all of those, it's $80.66 for all of them. So
I have a lot of FMV games.
Yeah. Sorry to call you out. But yeah, they got some big actors on this. I think if you want to jump in on this, just assume it's going to be a B-movie experience. And just go in with that assumption, and you might have a lot of fun, especially if you turn it into some sort of drinking game or something. Drink responsibly. But,
responsibly.
All right. So next up, from Wednesday, July 28th, we have The Forgotten City.
Travel 2,000 years into the past and relive the final days of a cursed Roman city, where if one person sins, everybody dies. Unravel the mystery at the city's heart by exploiting its deadly time loop. Questioning locals, exploring and solving puzzles, the fate of the city is in your hands.
I don't think
so. This is actually quite an interesting idea where it's this. So, there's the whole time loop situation, which I generally don't like because I don't like things that mess with time. Normally, it's there's gonna be some way, somehow this is gonna break the immersion. I'm just gonna like, that doesn't make any sense, or something like that. But it's an interesting idea because basically, I think this is basing it on sort of Roman mythology where, you know, a sin is basically something you do that displease one of the gods. Because, you know, going through the course of your playthrough, you're supposed to, like, murder, betray, backstab, all the rest. But it's all about doing it in a way that's not going to anger a god. So, there's this... And you've got to figure out what someone's going to do that's going to be the thing that you need to stop. That's really interesting. There's a bunch of content too. There's like an 80,000 word script, so that's, you know, a pretty hefty novel worth of dialogue.
Can I count on you to figure out?
And yeah, that's seems like a kind of interesting RPG, and I love Roman settings, but
there's an unfortunate screenshot of the lady who's in white and the dark hair. Because she looks like she's like...
Salve, friend.
She's sucking in her cheeks and she's cross-eyed. I
think hyper-realism was not a good idea here. They should have gone for a more stylized look, honestly. Because most of their faces are just scary to look at. I'm like, maybe go with more of a kind of an older-fashioned, stylized look. I don't know, because they all look somewhat demented. When you look at them. But, yeah.
Why are they all like Paul Walker with various different eyebrow types?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my word.
Maybe that's just my observation.
No, there's quite... Just so weird faces. Just weird faces. But it's standing at very positive, with 97% positive, with 437 user reviews, and it's 10% off right now at £17.54.
Oh, that would mess me up if I turned around.
Yeah.
Something chasing me like that, I'm like, no.
Nope. But yeah, the developer is Modern Storyteller, and this is their first game on Steam. So yeah, quite graphically impressive. I like the environments. Just the character models are disturbing. They're in that uncanny valley area, I think. All right. Next up is Unbound, the long-awaited Unbound Worlds Apart.
Summon portals to overcome vicious beasts, devious puzzles, and fiendish platforming challenges. Master the unique powers of each portal to stop the collapse of reality, while exploring lush, hand-drawn worlds and unraveling a deep narrative full of mysteries.
So this one's been on a lot of people's radars for quite a while, so it's glad to see it's finally fully out.
Looks really unique.
The character's so cute. He does look a bit like Orko, though, from He-Man. Does look a bit like
yeah.
It's Orko's side story.
Yes.
Oh, that would mess me up.
So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not being a platform player. This is just, no, nuh-uh.
Then I have my arachnophobia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this does seem to be pretty... So they've got their gimmick, but the actual platforming does seem to be pretty challenging. So, I don't know what my mileage would be on this. I'm not super interested in it personally, but I do have to say the art style's great. The mechanic looks like they could do a lot of really fun stuff with it. So for those looking for a platforming challenge with kind of almost a... If you liked Braid, that's a very different mechanic in Braid. This might be another one of those games that you want to jump in, a sort of gimmick platformer. Yep. So that is Unbound, and it is $16.99 USD at 15% off right now.
Yeah, £14.44, standing out very positive with 87% 87% with 104 user reviews. I thought this would get. I mean, it's good, you know, it has over 100 user reviews, but I thought there'd be quite a lot more considering this has been on quite a few people's radars.
Yeah, it really has been. So I too am a bit surprised that it hasn't gotten picked up more, but it is finally out, folks. So, okie doke. Our next game from Wednesday, July 28th is Fuga, Melodies of Steel.
Is an RPG where you place children, each with their own unique characteristics and skills, at different gun turrets in a tank to fight against the enemy.
Yep.
Yay, war children.
War children, yes, so cheerful. So, but yeah, basically you got your 12 characters in a tank, and you've got to fight the Burman army.
Are these all cats?
No, there's like a cat, there's a dog. Looks like it's cats and dogs that are on this. But yeah, and you're just like and you're all controlling a tank, and there's a bunch of these little things. So there's like the dialogue, you get to chat with different characters. It tracks the relationships of different characters within the tank, and there's also quite a few situations where characters can die, and then there's like a dungeon crawling thing. So yeah, it's quite big. The thing that the trailer has a really weird narration on it, though. So yeah, and I think it's because they literally took the Japanese and just translated it directly into English. If you don't know something about Japanese don't like to use pronouns very often, so they just repeat the noun that most people would use a pronoun for to replace it, like they or them, or so they would. In Japanese, you don't use pronouns a lot. So, and then when they translate English, they clearly didn't translate into how people actually speak English. So then he's like, the children. You can just say they. Stop it. It's getting really weird. Just stop saying that.
But the children.
Children, yes. It keeps saying, oh, yes, we've established that. You can say they. We know who the subject of this conversation is. But yeah, it was just directly translated. But I like the art style, the multiple different game modes going on, and the sort of multiple possible ways it can end. They also imply that you end up sacrificing one of your crew to make the thing more powerful, which that's kind of dark.
Yeah, crazy. Oh my god, it is £30.99, so it's on the pricier side as well. But it is standing up very positive with 92% 92% positive with 148 user reviews. Sorry, my speaking.
Well, it's very child soldiers, so
Yep.
It's gonna sell.
That's true.
Yeah. I do. It does have that kind of like Bravely Default aesthetic almost. Yeah, it almost has that aesthetic there. But yeah, it's got a full story, and it looks like it might be fairly long. I mean, this just came out recently, but I'm seeing up to 38 hours. Yeah. In the reviews. So it is but yeah, it's $39.99 USD. And there's the deluxe edition, which includes deluxe edition bonuses, I guess, for $59.99. Digital art book, a mini soundtrack, and other in-game bonuses. Okay.
I called it. Like, you get the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, that is Fuga, Melodies of Steel. Next up, from Thursday, July 29th, Blaster Master Zero 3.
The pinnacle of mutant blasting action is here! Blaster Master Zero 3 hybrid of side-scrolling and top-down action is back for its third chapter and more intense than ever before.
That is a aggressively English title. Blaster Master 03.
Oh my god.
I feel like I've played the predecessor of this game, though. It looks very familiar.
No, does one have to play 1 and 2 to appreciate the third iteration?
If I remember number like 1, I'm pretty sure it was 1 that I played. No, I don't think so. I think there's minimal story, so I think it's more just about the just the sort of action and such.
Just being a master of blasting, really.
Yeah. They went very, very retro with this. I gotta give them credits for it. It still looks very nice, but they very much captured the sort of 90s, 2000s pixel art aesthetic.
Is this your kind of game, Xaiyou, or is it? Because I know you
would have been like the teenage me.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think that's probably when I last played a game like this.
Back when I could still play platformers like this.
Yeah, you gotta be quick reactions. Yeah.
We're all old and boring now.
Like, the greatest part of my day now is being like, ooh, I can go to my SMP. I will hang out there.
It's 20% off right now at £10.79. Standing up very positive with 89% and with 74 user reviews.
Yep, and it is $11.99 USD. Next up is Pedro's Adventures in Spanish.
Want to improve your Spanish? Need a break from flashcards and listening exercises? Ready to put what you've already learned into practice? Amigo, I don't speak Spanish, sorry.
Oh, felicidades, amigos. This is a game for you. Yep. So it's like happy tidings, friends. Yep. So I do kind of find this interesting, where it's like partly it's like, well, this is just a point and click game that hasn't been translated into English, but they are using fairly basic. So this is kind of like for people who finished like 2 or 3 grades of Spanish kind of thing and just want some immersion practice. That's what it looks like to me.
I wish this kind of stuff would have been out back when I was studying. Probably would have helped it stick.
Yeah, I do like the sort of they also basically use the type of Spanish used in telenovelas. So it's like La princesa está in trouble, and it's like, oh Dios mío, and it's like delivered in the same way. I'm just like,
I can't say I think I have a problem with the character design mainly. There are some parts of the background design as well that I don't like the look of either. I do like my point and click games, and I just feel this is lacking a bit in the art department. And it's like nearly 20 quid as well. It's £19.49. This is a hard no for me. It is 10 to 15 hours, and there's over 2,000 lines of in-game Spanish dialogue.
A lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
10 to 15 hours. Yeah. Well. But yeah, so, and they specify this is not for beginners of Spanish. This is for if you're, yes. Oh, and it is Latin American Spanish also. So that's another thing, which I think is a little weird because it seems to have a definitely European setting. So, but okay. But it is Latin American Spanish.
What is the difference in the Spanish?
There's a few grammar differences. Like there's certain pronouns that are used in Spain that aren't used in Latin America and vice versa. There's
The S sounds different because in Latin America they'll say the S sound, and in Spanish it'd be a
yeah. So there's like cerveza before the C and the Z and beer, whereas in Andalusia and the Canary Islands and in Latin America they say cerveza. So there's certain pronunciation differences. There's a lot of vocabulary. Latin American Spanish has a lot of Maya, Arabic. Has a lot more Arabic words, had a lot more Maya words, has a lot more like indigenous and English words thrown in than European Spanish. And then European Spanish also has its own set of slang that they use that people don't use in Latin America. So there's definite differences. I think this one's probably going to avoid most of the slang. So someone from Spain could probably be able to play this game and just recognize that they pronounce their C's and Z's wrong. And it's like, okay, I can understand this. But yeah, there are differences, and it's if you speak like speaking in like the Castilian Spanish, it's kind of analogous to someone speaking a posh British English when you're in like Texas. So, like, people can understand you, but they're like, it's one of those fancy Europeans, those old worlders. Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay, but that is Pedro's Adventures in Spanish. $24.99 is a little bit steep for me. But maybe if I do pick up Spanish eventually. Right now I'm focusing on Russian, but if I do pick up Spanish again eventually, I'm not too far away from being able to play this game actually, because I could read most of that.
It looks like a good what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a good intermediate game.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, they're definitely not using complex Spanish. This is kind of grade school Spanish that they're using mostly.
Yeah.
So, yep. Okie dokie. Next up is Skydrift Infinity.
Skydrift Infinity is an action-packed arcade game focusing on the experience of flying alone and with others in a light, quick, fast-paced style. So flying alone and with others.
Yeah, there's online PvP as well as split screen PvP.
So is it like a race type of thing for what I'm looking at? Like, or is it like Ace Combat?
So there is racing. There also appears to be racing combat where you're shooting at people that are in front of you. And then there's also just kind of like dog fights. So there seems to be a few different game modes going on.
Yeah, it's up to 8-person multiplayer. Bad.
That one I might actually be into this one.
Yeah, this is another one of those games that when I get set up for couch co-op in my living room, this is something I might try playing with my brother. So it looks like it could be quite fun. But that is Skydrift Eternity.
When you said what it was, when you said Skydrift Infinity, I was literally going to be like, oh, it has Infinity in its name, so it has to be good.
Infinity, yeah.
10% off right now at £7.64. There's only currently 9 user reviews, though.
Yep. Scrolling down, I see one negative review, so let's hop in and see what that has. Let me see. It's a port, eh? Oh, okay, so this is, let me see. There's 0 video options besides frame limiting, no resolution. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Start the game with menus. No options for aspect ratio. Okay. 90% of us don't care about that much, but that is important to have in your game.
Yeah. I'm fine. If anything, if I'm sitting down and playing this, I'm more likely, like you said, I'm probably gonna be sitting down at a couch. So guess what? Big TV. I don't care. It hurts me none.
Yeah, so the other besides the person with kind of the special hardware, because that's the thing, that's fair. If you having settings and customizations is important. It is it is notable that it wouldn't detect his Xbox Elite controller, so that's a bit of a problem as well. But I mean, most people don't have either of those things, so it is something they need to address. But most people don't have an Xbox Elite controller, so which it should still work if it works with just regular Xbox controllers. So that is concerning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the difference between that and like, or say like my Xbox controller that I use?
Well, there's some additional buttons. It's heavier. It's also a lot more customizable. So there are some differences. But actually, I'm looking. Does this say it has controller support? It doesn't say it anywhere. But looking at some of the pause reviews, it does seem to imply it. I wouldn't want to play this game with keyboard, honestly.
No.
This feels like this is definitely a controller game.
Too bad with mouse and keyboard when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, I like mouse and keyboard for RPGs, for shooters, for that sort of stuff, or for point and click. But, controller for racing, like if you're driving or anything like that, give me a controller, please. So, yeah, I hope it does actually work with the controllers, which I think it should. But yeah, that is Skydrift Infinity. Looks nice. Hopefully they get those issues resolved. Next up is another long-awaited game, Eldest Souls.
No, not Eldest Scrolls. Eldest Souls.
Yeah, Eldest Souls. Yep.
Fast-paced.
Wait, what?
Fast-paced and brutally challenging Eldest Souls is a unique boss rush Souls-like experience. In a final act of vengeance, the old gods have unleashed a great desolation upon the world. Mankind's only hope lies with a lone warrior and his great sword of pure obsidian.
It's an interesting style in which, so they do the 3/4 view, but it's like not a diagonal 3/4 view. It's just a, I guess a orthogonal 3/4 view. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I suppose it works with this is this is kind of pixel art. Yeah, that's pixel art. 16-bit it looks like, but it's quite pretty. I like the setting. I like that it's clearly trying to be a Souls-like action RPG, but it doesn't try to be super grim. Like, it doesn't seem to be super grim. There's a lot of color going on, and I appreciate that. I like games that have color.
It's super pretty, some of it, and there's some really intricate, detailed work on the pixel art, especially with the one of the bosses here. It looks really good. And the menus are quite nice as well, although they're nothing like really different. But yeah, I do like the way it looks.
The art style reminds me a lot of Children of Morta, which is another pretty very, very pretty pixel art game. Although I will say the characters in Children of Morta are a bit lower def than the character in this one, so they're kind of smaller and they're a bit more abstractly designed. But this one looks quite nice.
It's 15% off right now at £14.44, and it's standing out very positive with 82% with 432 user reviews.
Yeah. A lot of excitement around this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
People love their Souls likes.
If since it's like 3/4 view, I might even be able to do this one, because most Souls likes, I can't do the 3D combat that well. But when it's like this kind of 2D combat, maybe I can do that. So this is a tentative one. I don't know if I'm going to put it on my wish list. I'm going to wait to see if I know someone who plays it and what they think of it. So next up, we have Banners of Ruin.
Assemble your party, answer the call, win the war, build a deck and fight a series of turn-based combats with up to 6 party characters through the city of Dawn's Point. Each character can unlock a set of unique cards and abilities that can augment your deck in powerful, exciting ways. Oh, I kept losing the thread of what they were saying there.
A lot.
I do like the Redwall style anthropomorphic animals kind of thing. I'm not a fan of most like furry character aesthetic, but the Redwall one, where it's kind of like a bit more, like it emphasizes a bit more the animalistic look, I quite like that. It just has this nice, cozy, very it's almost like, you know, if an otter or a bear just decide to stand on their back legs and just like, what? I'm wearing clothes now. It just has a cool look to it. Very whimsical.
Mousy!
Yes.
So cute.
Yeah, that mouse is very cute. Yeah, I really like this, and as a Redwall fan, this is already on my wish list just for the aesthetic, really. But the turn-based combat is also another thing I very much like. Oh,
it looks really good. Do you like the way this looks? Because, you know, we've seen quite a lot of like loads of these kind of card game RPGs and roguelike deck builders, but like this one has got a lot of love poured into it, and it looks really, really good. And it is standing out very positive overall at 8% with 677 user reviews. Recently, it's standing at 71% with 99 user reviews. So yeah, it's quite a drop in the reviews.
It's still positive, but yeah, that is a notable drop.
Like, review that's saying why?
Yeah, let me see. Let's look at the recent reviews. Okay, okay, so this guy says it's mediocre, the gameplay's just so slow, even maximizing all the animation speeds. Not convinced with the balance. Okay, I want to see like someone who played the who was like a supporter or whatever, was playing the early access. Okay, not as good as Slay the Spire, Monster Train, Griftland. It's yeah, I'm looking at some of the negative views, and like, okay, I can see that criticism, but also it's like, okay, but is it... I'm not seeing much in the way of people going like, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. I think it's just...
This is not happening because it's messing up my machine or something.
Yeah, I think the main issue, I was seeing a lot of people saying, it says the game starts well at first, but after a while it gets very boring and repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone feels the same without any new mechanics or combos to explore. So yeah, I think it's just, they kind of a game that runs out of steam a bit.
All right, but yep.
It's 20% off right now at £12.39.
Yeah, well, hopefully if folks do keep bringing up issues that they have with it, that it'll continue to get updated. It has thankfully remained mostly positive. And yeah, I've got this on my wish list. I want to check it out. It's in a genre I like. Of course, since it is a genre I like, I may end up being able to point out like, yeah, this isn't as good as that, etc. But I'm very curious to check it out. So that's Banners of Ruin. All right, next up, and it's by MonteBearo. Great name. But yeah, next up is Omno.
A single-player journey of discovery through an ancient world of wonders created by solo developer Jonas Manke.
Oh, he looks so cute.
Yeah, he did a good job of making a sort of unique-looking mascot character.
It's quite minimalist looking kind of game. It's like, but it's really nice, sort of like very sort of these clean lines and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
I'd get
some.
my roommate to play it, but I would die. I'm just looking at some of these jumps and parts of puzzles. I'm just like, yeah, I wouldn't get it. but I would love to watch him play it. 'Cause it looks
Yeah,
fun.
no, I feel the same. This is definitely like one I would love to see someone who, like, unlike me, who is competent at playing video games, play this.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's definitely a line between minimalism, like stylistic minimalism, and just not wanting to have to bother with textures.
Yeah.
But this one definitely seems to be more in the former because it's got the whimsical look. They did a ton of work on the lighting because the lighting looks like it's really well done, and but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It especially once you see the movement, once you see the character movement and stuff, you're like, okay, this is pretty good. So in this case, I think the minimalism is just to do the fact this is a solo dev, Jonas Manke, and he's got limited time and talent. So, and I appreciate that he just focused in on what he was very good at and made a very viable product. So, yeah, that's cool.
It's
looks full of
14.
love.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was just saying that it looks full of love.
It does.
Yeah, definitely.
It really does.
It's £14.99 and it's standing at very positive at 95% with 172 user reviews.
Yeah, it's very positive. That's good. That is very good.
And there's a prologue as well. There's a prologue to play.
Oh, cool. So if you're not sure about it, you can check out the prologue. All right, on to our last day of the week with releases. Friday, July 30th, we have Moonshot, the Great Espionage.
I got a different moonshot. I was like,
So
what?
So are we going spy? We're going noir.
Yep.
Let's see. Moonshot is a stealth puzzle platformer that puts you in the role of a spy of a fictional country in the moon race era. In competition with the USA and the Soviet Union, you will have to use espionage and sabotage to make sure that your nation will be the first on the moon. Ooh, interesting premise.
You're trying to be the small third party that's like, nah, we're going to be both of them.
Okay. Alright, that's hilarious. I like this one.
Yeah, that is a neat premise.
Now, there's been lots of documentaries out recently about the space race.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching quite a few of them. They're very, really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff.
You're just kidnapping some guy. It's like, the scientist I need.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm gonna put this one on my wish list.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's developed.
Yeah, I feel the same day. Yeah, I want to watch someone play this because I'm not good at stealth games and they just like super stress me out. But I really like the puzzles of this, and it just looks like there are some really hilarious moments. Oh yeah, this looks fabulous. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more user reviews. There's only 2, unfortunately.
Oh, there's 5, but yeah.
Oh, okay. But still, I would have thought there'd be like quite a few more still to generate a actual review score. But it's 17% off right now at £5.80. But there's 20 levels. 20 levels. Lots of mini games.
Yeah. And they threw down the glove here. No early access. We don't believe in early access games. Ooh. Ooh. When the game comes out, it should feel complete and proper for us to guarantee you a good gaming experience. All right. That's quite a throwdown, but I will say I think early access has its place. But I will my general recommendation to everyone, unless you super believe in the company, like they have a good track record with you, don't buy early access. Just wait for the full release. In general, unless you really believe in the company, because that's why I also don't pre-order anything except like Final Fantasy expansions.
Yeah,
because I know it's going to be good. So
I mean, we've seen quite a lot. Like doing this show, we've seen quite a lot of early access games, and when they've done the release, the review has actually gone down a bit, or as we saw with the last game, also in quite a considerable amount. So yeah, it's always best to wait until the game comes out and to see how it is.
Yep. But yeah, you can get Moonshot for very affordable, $6.63 right now because it's 17% off. And yeah, the developer is Nimble Beasts, and this is their first game on Steam. So yeah. I wouldn't of course say that like a company's necessarily bad for doing early access. Every company's situation is different, but I would just rather you do a prologue and just make sure everyone knows what the premise is, and just make sure that the rest of your game is faithful to that prologue.
Yeah. Oh my god! Again, we've seen quite a few. It's like, oh my, like this year that have like they've done that, and then they brought out the full game, and it was like, what is this? Oh my god, what have I done? What have I bought?
And I sincerely dare say, Aspire and Hades are the only early access ones I've supported. And yeah, Hades is one of the weird examples where like makes people believe in the format. And I don't know if Hades would have been better not being early access or not. But they you know what? They really did well by their customers. So, yeah. Okie doke. The next up is the mysteries of Ranko Togawa, Murder on the Marine Express.
What a twist!
The mystery visual novel taking place aboard underwater train Marine Express follows student Ranko Togawa on her quest to find the culprit on the murder of an accompanying teacher, with lots of surprises along the way. Oof, got goosebumps thinking about this. There is a free demo, of course. I feel like this could possibly be a series of like visual novels, and I'm quite interested in giving this one a go because the color scheme is like quite simple enough, but it's still somehow pleasing as well. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, it looks nice. Not anything. I'm not like super surprised or shocked by the aesthetic or whatever, but it's just, it's just nice. It is nice. It does what it's supposed to, and the aspect ratio seems to imply that this should be like you should be playing this on Game Boy almost.
Yes. It says learn the secrets hidden in the Marine Express and discover the culprit in this story of tragedy, surprises, and lots of humor. A visual novel with classic locked space whodunit development, following the style of great mystery writers such as Agatha Christie and Keigo Higashino or Nissi Oisin. So yeah, quite a lot to live up to there. A story in 5 chapters offering 3 hours of reading, retro field graphics with pixel art in the style of old text adventure games, large cast of charismatic characters with humorous dialogues, side conversations on Ranko's phone which help to understand the situation on the train and know more about the students of Saint Joachim. It's also in English and Spanish and more languages in the near future.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it looks very nice. And
yeah, it's only $3.99, so
yeah,
that's quite good. There's only 3 user reviews though.
Yep. They're all positive though. $4.99 USD. Yeah, that's a good price.
So, sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say it's very cheap and art feels like meme quality.
Meme quality?
Yeah. It does a bit. I can see that.
But yeah, and it's got a title that it's a long title, man.
It wins the longest title award.
Wins longest title award for sure. I don't know if I've had a longer titled game on the show, but yeah, that is The Mysteries of Ranko Togawa, Murder on the Marine Express, not Orient Express, and it is developed by 1564 Studio. And this is their first game. The demo came out on the 23rd. Interesting to note, the game launched with a crash bug, but they fixed it the next day. So version 1.01 is up, so the developers were kind enough to also put up announcements that, hey, we're fixing it, guys. So that is very good on them. Thank you very much, Studio 1564. Next up, No Longer Home.
No Longer Home is a game about letting go of the life you've built due to circumstances beyond your control. Immerse yourself in the lives of Bo and Al and learn about their dreams, frustrations, and fears. Welcome the magic of everyday and somewhat extraordinary.
This sounds cheerful.
It looks like there's looks a bit point and clicky, like you're turning the home around and you're going exploring around, but also there are these poignant moments, and you've got these weird, I don't know, friends or I don't know, animals that are around, or demons, or spirit magic kind of creatures, or just in their dream or something. There's a character here called Lou.
Oh yeah, how interesting.
Yeah.
So it's got like a sort of supernatural thing going on, as well as the just sort of interpersonal drama. That's it's, you know what? Any slice of life is better if you throw in a little supernatural.
Oh, get to know Lou, the multi-eyed animal-like new flatmate.
Here's the thing: supernatural can still be slice of life, a different slice of life, but it's still a slice of life.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the slice of life genre, but it's weird because X.
Yeah, this is also, this has very a lot of heavy themes to go with it, so there is a content warning with it. Yeah. So yeah, if you're prepared to play through a lot of heavy game with some heavy issues in there, maybe pick this one up. It's 20% off right now at £9.11. It's currently 9 user reviews. I think I have played this. I think this was featured at 1 year at the Adventure X convention that I go to.
Oh, hopefully. Is Adventure X, are they planning to be open next year?
I don't think it's going to be open this year. Next year, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's usually every November. So, and they've not said anything about what they're doing this year, I don't think.
Yep.
I'll have to check.
Alrighty. Well, that is No Longer Home by Humble Grove. Next and final game is Horror Tales, a part of the Horror Tales series. This one is The Wine.
Explore a post-apocalyptic fictional Mediterranean island and confront your fears. Immerse yourself in a seemingly abandoned city and struggle to find a precious Bandy de... I don't know.
Banny de Bosque, yeah.
Red wine bottle to cure your loved ones, but be aware, your nemesis is watching you.
Ooh, there's a cockroach. Yeah.
This is interesting. So this is, I think, first of a series of games that they're going to release in a horror genre. They've got 2 more on the way that are going to be released in December.
It does make me wonder how long this game. So this is developed by Carlos Coronado.
What are you even running from?
The thing that's watching you.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Saw enough.
Yep.
I saw enough.
Yeah, let me see. I think it appears at one point.
So there's a cold smell of death. Calm and silence comes over your body when you arrive at the dock. They seal off the infected families in their own homes without food or water, but even then, the quarantine didn't work. There is no one left alive, so it seems.
Well, This is another one of those games where it's like, oh, let me see, did he plan out this plot before? Because it was funny, like, back in March last year, there's a game, like, that was about a pandemic on a ship. And we're like, oh, this was timely. And it had clearly been in development for a long time, and it's just like, do we release? Yeah, we just gotta release. But yeah, interesting. I am curious, looking at the times I'm seeing up to 5 hours, but I'm thinking it's probably around 4. So yeah, that's if each of these games are going to be at 4 hours each, and they're selling for $14.99 or $15, 20% off right now. It's $11.99. But
yeah, this is quite hefty price. Yeah, she said 20% off right now at £9.11, and it's standing at 100% positive with 34 user reviews.
that is pretty good.
And then I saw the cockroaches and was like, nah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I hate cockroaches. I hate those.
What I can't do is bugs. Bugs
Yeah.
and spiders. If it has more limbs than me, I can't do it.
And I'm a northern boy, so when I moved down to California and now Texas, like, the cockroaches don't live in Washington. I'd never seen one before. And then I moved to California and they're like this big, and I was like, oh, what is this thing? Get out! That was just so because in the north you just have to worry about ants.
Yeah.
But roaches. Ugh. I hate roaches. But yeah, it very high def, realistic environments. They've got quite a hefty engine doing this. But so the environments are very beautiful, and the character arts for the characters that do appear don't appear to be bad, so it seems fairly well done.
The you get this nice sort of like panoramic view of cities and everything. They look really nice, really well done.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much you're going to focus on it when you're running for your life.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Horror Tales: The Wine by Carlos Coronado, who also developed Coral. Yeah, we talked about Coral. This is like this like pretty sort of your current swimming in a coral reef. So yeah, interesting. Yeah. Busy developer. But yeah, with that, we now have the question: what was the best of the week in your humble opinion, or not so humble? You don't have to be humble. But yeah, Xai, what game stood out most to you?
Probably that one that I picked up. I put in my wish list. What was the name of it again? So I was like, I need it. It was that Moonshot.
Oh, Moonshot, the great
espionage. Just something about like snatching up a body. It seems like a fun idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's got a great sort of pixel art going, and I love the premise that you're just some fictional country during the Cold War doing the third path. Like that's just really that's really neat to me. Really neat idea. All right, Rhodey, what about you?
So I'm gonna take one from the catch-up list and also one from the main list as well. So I'm definitely interested in Welcome to Elk. But again, as I said, I'm gonna play it and be left kind of like traumatized after playing it, not exactly a feel good game. So yeah, but it looks
Maybe
super
you can get
interesting.
a good cry.
Yeah, well, it looks. I don't like having a good cry, to be honest. I just like being in a state of contentment and happiness, really. So yeah, Welcome to Elk is like it's super interesting story. Well, you haven't brought it up.
Oh, whoops! Ah, gosh, I didn't do it. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it looks super interesting. It's I like the style of the like this sort of like comic book cartoon style, and I'm really curious about the stories as well. The second one that I'm interested in, I already had Nightbook on my wish list. Like when I saw that it was coming out, but then now it's like already out. I'm not so sure, but you know, I'll probably pick it up because it, you know, for the lols. But the main one I am very interested in playing is The Mysteries of Ranko Togawa, Murder on the Marine Express. That is a very interesting one for me, and I'd love to. I just like detective games. I love detective games. I like those kind of old school visual novels from Japan, and this kind of like this definitely looks like one of those. And yeah, I'm and I don't mind that it's a shorter game as well. It, you know, a nice kind of like well-paced shorter narrative is always a nice one to play through. But yeah, those are my best of the week. What about you, Dewey?
Mine would be Atomicrops from the Catchup list. Well, from the Catchup list, yeah, it'd be Atomicrops because it just got this this really fun pixel art with, you know, action. I like action roguelites. That's my jam. So I'm very into this. And from the release list, it's a hard pick for me this week, but I'm gonna have to say Banners of Ruin, because I'm a Redwall fan, and I'm also a roguelike fan, and I like card builders. So I'm gonna check this one out and be disappointed that it's not as good as like Slay the Spire probably, but I just I love the aesthetic. I've got to check it out. So, and hopefully it's gonna continue to get updates. So I'm looking forward to that. It looks really fun. But yeah, that is my best of the week. So before we say our farewells, how about everyone just, you know, give your, like, where they can find you, shamelessly plug. So start with Xaiyou. Shamelessly plug yourself.
Well, you can find me on Twitch with my channel Xaiyou. You can also find me in a new Discord, but we're trying to get big enough to where we can have our own custom like URL. So at some point I'll slide you the URL if you ever decide to, if you want to like check it out or whatever. And we're just trying to get trying to get big there, because if we can become part of the Discord partnership program, we can then get discovery. And then, you know, then it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, I didn't know people were doing this thing. Oh, so I looked up on Twitch, not Twitch, but Discord, to see if I could find other people who did it, and then they discover our channel, and now they're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of us. So we're trying to get that status.
Nice. Well, good luck. Good luck.
Oh, that's cool. If you but yeah, right now, can they find that Discord on your YouTube channel, on your Twitch channel?
Yes, they can. If they go to my channel and do ! Discord, that there's a forever link there.
All right, very good. Okie doke. And Rhodey, what about you?
I didn't stream this week, but if you do want to catch me streaming, I am on twitch.tv/RhodeyPie, and of course you can find me on here every week. And don't forget to follow us on the creator page, and do follow us on YouTube as well. It's just type in Steam Release Podcast, and it'd be the first one to find.
Yep, and I should have the link below. I think still on Twitch, but yeah. With that, for everyone else, thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and of course, we will not have a show next week. That's something. Yeah, we will not have a show
You have,
next
you
week.
have all your links there still. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Oh
cool.
yes, yeah,
Cool.
nice.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, no show next week. I am moving, so that's gonna be a thing. Hopefully, I'll be ready. I'm planning to have everything ready for the week after next week. I should
Are
be
you
able to
getting
get it all done.
movers?
Huh?
Are you getting movers so that you can have that done in a week?
No, but I have a wealth of volunteers, surprisingly enough. So, no, I'm not going to get movers. I'm just moving a mile.
So you have movers.
Yeah, I have movers.
But they're not movers.
Yeah, I just have to pay them in beer and pizza. So,
Oh,
um,
easy peasy.
yep.
That's
So
$40.
Yep, indeed. So I'll be bringing. I don't have that much stuff. The worst thing is I have that table there is like 100% wood. So yeah, that's like that's a pretty heavy table, but it's so
Yeah.
nice. It was only $200. I had to get it, so I've got this really heavy table. Besides that, everything else in my apartment's going to be easy to move. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, with that, farewell. Goodbye. Goodbye,
care,
YouTube. Please like.